are back with another episode of the Absolute Arsenal podcast. As always, your host, PJ Davidson, Christian Escalera, and special guest today, the one and only Michael Chavez. Michael, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me, PJ and Christian.
Absolutely, man. So let's kick it off with you, man. Give us some insight as to your background, where you live, where you're from, all that, and I guess how you became an Arsenal fan.
Gotcha. So I'm originally from Queens, New York, lived here 29 of my 31 years of life. I am Colombian American, first generation. How I became Arsenal fan is actually pretty funny. During the Arsenal and Barcelona final, I was rooting for Barcelona. So I grew up very Barcelona heavy. And unfortunately, how it happened, Arsenal lost. But then I became more towards the Arsenal side because I was like, I've never seen an English team play this pretty, this stylistic, but they're not from Spain. Spain was like the go-to market for that touch style. And when I saw that, I was really like amazed. Even though they lost, I still thought they did an incredible job. So I started following Arsenal, and then I saw how financially smart they were in terms of like how they ran business. I've always had a business mind, and I just loved everything about it. The community, the way they ran the club, the culture, the players, how they brought them up in the academy. I mean, you can see World Cup commercials of like Arsene Wenger, like scouting kids and watching them play. And it's just, yeah, just I love everything about Arsenal.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Classic commercial too. All time commercial.
It
They took that final
it
from us.
absolutely is. Yeah.
Emmanuel Aboué cameo.
That final was a robbery.
Yeah.
It wasn't a red.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not a fun day. But I think we are closer to being back in a Champions League final than we have been since then, to say the least. Yeah, I'm not counting. I shouldn't say European because we technically Europa League, but yeah, those don't count. So, anyways, I digress. So we're gonna get into Arsenal 6, Sheffield United absolutely nothing shortly. It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun to watch. It was one of the most fun times I've ever had watching an Arsenal match, I've seen some beatdowns. I mean, like what comes to mind for me, I think it was either I think it was like the 07-08 season or 06 or 07. We played Everton on the first day. I remember absolutely destroying them. The biggest thing that stuck out to me in this match, and we'll certainly break it down as we go, is just like I've never seen a team put up such a non-existent base fight. Like we've played teams way down the league, like the English leagues, like League Two, non-league, all that. I've never seen a team that just literally put up no fight whatsoever. I mean, can you guys remember another match, Arsenal or not Arsenal, that one-sided?
No, recently probably West Ham or Burnley even,
Yeah,
but these guys were terrible. They didn't want to be there, honestly. Not
Yeah,
even the
I
fans
can't
wanted to be
remember
there.
one
yeah.
either.
But I enjoyed it at their expense, just like Ben White said. Did you, they asked Ben White, like, did you feel, sort of bad at some point that you were killing them? And in like the most Ben White fashion, he's like, no, wouldn't expect anything else from him. He's like, yeah,
Right, he scored.
score a freaking banger. Um,
Hell of a
He
left foot,
was.
yeah,
yeah.
dude, he's got that in his locker. He doesn't shoot
You know,
enough.
I was thinking during the game. It's funny because I was like, I think Ben White has only scored one goal with us, and it was that goal against and that comeback. But the ball never hit the net. It was cleared like at the line.
Yep.
So I was like, it would have been cool if like Ben White can score a goal, and like hit the net and properly celebrate. 2 seconds later, PJ has a faster internet than me. He goes like, "What a banger by White!" And I'm like, what?" And all of a sudden, like I see it, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It's surprising too because Ben White has had a lot of chances when he's played at right back. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but he's had a lot of chances to score more goals than what he has, which is surprising. But I mean, he's put himself in good position. He's learned the right back role really well, considering he's played center back for most of his career.
Yeah, big time. I mean, obviously a very, very extreme example, and nor do I think like Ben White should all of a sudden just start, hoofing shots at goal on the regular. But it was kind of like Martin Odegaard when he first came into Arsenal, how like it was he constantly had opportunities to shoot, but he would always try to make the extra pass. And now, I mean, it's almost the reverse. It's almost like he shoots almost to a fault sometimes instead of making the pass. I think he's kind of reverted a little bit to a good um, sort of mixture of shooting, passing, etc. in those moments. But yeah, Ben White was very all or nothing the way that Martin Odegaard used to be, and it was good to see him take a rip and yeah, it paid off to put it lightly. But let's go back though. Let's go back to pregame. So I think pregame generally like the talk like I've never quite heard just a general consensus that this was going to be an automatic victory, um, as I did prior to this match. Like everyone was basically writing this off, like 1 billion% Arsenal are winning this match. It's done. It's 3 points. And like I'm the first person to be like, the game's not played on paper. You have to go out and do it. If you show up thinking you're just going to win, that's when bad things
Yeah.
happen. Um, but I think those people had a point.
I think just overall, like Sheffield United this season has been like, but like from the bottom like three, the three that came up are the three that are in the bottom three spots. But they're
Yeah.
by far the team that plays
Yeah,
the worst.
that would help us.
Like I kind of enjoy watching Luton Town because they play
Yeah.
pretty good. They fight every game. They don't get a 5-0 or 5-0 or 6-0. They fight. And then Burnley, I mean, they don't really score that many goals, but they play well as well. But Sheffield is just an absolute disaster, dude.
I mean, listen to this
Watch
goal
him, watch him
differential.
get points from City.
Minus 50 goal differential for Sheffield United, bottom of the
Oh my
table.
God.
I mean,
Oh
that's
God.
that's insane.
Jeez. Is anyone
That's
else even close to that?
Burnley with minus 35, and then Luton with minus
Yeah.
17.
Wow.
So Christian's right; they are putting up a fight, Luton. But yeah, Sheffield is really kind of speechless with that. I've never seen a minus 50
That's
before.
bananas. I mean, here's everyone like I think like generally considers what was it the '06 Derby County team with Robbie Savage. Like I think everyone considers that the single worst team in the history of the Premier League. I mean, I think after yesterday we got to rethink that. I mean, that was yes, Arsenal are good. Like yeah, we're really freaking good, but no set of professionals should be able to do what they did to another set of professionals, let alone both in the highest league and arguably the best league in the world. Um, what I do is I'm looking at this because I really hope Luton's. I think, like you said, Christian, there's so much to like about Luton on so many levels. Nottingham Forest are 4 points above them with one more game played. I think I can confidently speak on behalf of most Arsenal fans that after that colossal fuck up against Liverpool this weekend, I am totally good watching Nottingham Forest burn to the ground and go down. Um, that was freaking
For
awful,
sure.
man. That like ruined like an Arsenal loss hasn't even ruined my day as badly as that did. I mean, obviously there's ref issues and whatnot, and let's put that to the side though. All the best to do is clear the ball, but in the 98th minute, you're trying to dribble out of your own box. Like, what in fucking world are you thinking?
Yeah, clearly
Yeah,
wasn't.
If we end up losing the league by 2 points, that's what's gonna hurt us. That one,
God, pray for that Nottingham Forest player.
which it could happen because last season we lost about 4 points.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't like to talk about that.
It's painful, but you have
Yeah,
to.
nah, you're right. So, wise unchanged. Jorginho kept his place. I don't think it was that surprising given the break that we have between this game, the next game, everything else. I mean, Jorginho's been unbelievable. You can't really drop him from the side unless it's a matter of fitness, in my opinion. Um, so I was really pleased with the lineup. Obviously tough on Trossard, but I'm glad that Kai was given the nod up front again. I think having him in front,
Incredible. He
yeah,
played so good.
yeah, he was on. But yeah, what did you guys think of the lineup?
I was gonna say, I mean, kind of the type of guy. If it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, the way that we played against Newcastle, like why to change? Why change it? You know, although it could have been a game to change it because consider that it was Sheffield and we have a tough schedule coming up. But I guess they don't think the players need to rest. Then you know that's the lineup
Yeah,
is.
Michael, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean the lineup was great. I mean, Kai. I mean, again, Kai. You guys don't know this. I'm a huge Kai fan. I think he started very rough. We've talked about this before, PJ, in between each other. It's just a lack of confidence, honestly. But you're seeing him start to grow and start to find himself, more and more. But for me, what really though pissed me off about this game was the Martinelli injury, and having some of these players play until like the 65th minute. To me, it's like at half, it's 5-0. Like, do we see a Barcelona PSG situation where they score 6 goal against us and like no one can believe it? Like, no one's expecting that from Sheffield United. So for me, like that was really frustrating because if Marcelin's going to miss significant time, even though it was a contact injury, you never know how hard the hit was, or where specifically it was on the bone. It's just so unnecessary. So that's the one thing that really pissed me off about this game.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Christian, go ahead.
No, I 100% agree. I don't think he should have been. He should have finished that game. He should have been off early,
Yeah,
way earlier. And you're gonna you know what I'm gonna say. I don't think Cedric and Vieira deserved any to game time. I would have definitely tried to put somebody else for Martinelli and Saka. I love that Saka came out. Don't get me wrong, but I just
Mhm.
think there's other players that could have been in along with also Martinelli coming out. Resting the proper players.
yeah. No, I think that's. I mean, I'll disagree with you on Vieira, but I get it. The only thing is, Cedric was the only defender on the bench, and I think Ben White is a player we've all seen, and multiple of us have said
Yeah.
like he's a guy who needs to rest, and there's no one else. I mean, it had to be Cedric. So I don't know who else to do.
Yeah.
I saw someone suggest like Partey was back, you could just play him at right back, but no, man, like you need to put Partey back
No,
at the
no,
six
With it
and give
coming
him
back
minutes
from a
there.
long
It's
injury,
ridiculous.
he has to
exactly,
play where he plays
Exactly.
too.
So I'm with you. I'm
exactly.
with you on Cedric, but we didn't really have a choice because there is nobody else on the bench else available. Tomiyasu's not there. Zinchenko's not there. Kivior's out there. I mean, there's no other defenders. That's just reality for us at the moment, unfortunately. So, um, but Via,
Would
yeah, go
you?
ahead.
What do you think about? No, I was gonna say, what do you think about Gabriel Jesus coming in? Right, like he just came back from an injury. We were winning 5-0 at half. Is it really necessary to put him in?
Yeah,
You know,
I think.
you
Yeah,
think you
Well,
think so?
here's my opinion. The subs in this match were, and believe me, I want to come to the guys who did not get off the bench later. Um, but a large part of what I was going to say in that regard and everything else is that I think just about every single sub that we made for all facts and purposes was more about fitness and coming back from injury for most of those guys. Not Trossard. I think there's an argument to be, but having him get some minutes is very important because he's clearly going to be a really, really, really key guy, and we hadn't played in a week, so I get Leo playing, but no, I mean Vieira playing was number one. Saka came off at half not because of a I want to rest him. It was because he wanted to rest him, but it was because he was sick and he wasn't feeling well, supposedly. You can never really fully trust anything Arteta says,
No.
but yeah, he said Saka came off at halftime because he was ill. He also said, not that it matters, but the Martinelli injury, it was just like the laceration, so he had a cut, and that's why he came off, and he's fine. Again, hard to tell, and Michael, I'm with you because anything on a foot, you think metatarsal. I mean, there's all those stats about how many bones
yeah,
are in the foot, and so it's always a
yeah.
scary prospect when you see him not putting any weight on it. But Long story short,
Or even look at what happened to Santi Cazorla back in the
yeah,
day. I mean, he just had a cut, and look at like the nasty staph infection he
yeah,
had, and he missed like a year or two because of just a
yeah.
cut. So like, you just never know. Granted, that's like, an
As
outlier, but
extreme gets,
still,
but
it's
yeah, I'm with you.
yeah, but still, it's like if I'm the coach there, it's 5-0. If you're gonna take Saka off, take Martinelli off, he's really the only like true full speed that we have on our team. Like Saka's quick, but he doesn't have that full sprint that Martinelli has. So
Yeah.
you got to protect him at all costs.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element of Martinelli where I think he hasn't quite been on form for a while now. So I get wanting some
He
extra
hasn't,
minutes into
no.
him to try and get him to find that. So like again, to a degree, I get it. Like hindsight's 2020, right? Like, of course, that he got injured. We wish he was off. Um, but let's top if that's okay with you guys. Do you guys want to add anything before we? I mean, we'll come back to all of this, but anything you guys want to add before we just get to the top of the game real quick?
No,
Cool.
I'm good.
No, I was gonna start talking about the subs, but we'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, so just to run through just how everything kind of went down.
Unleash me.
Yeah. So game gets off to a good start, super early. Saka hits the bar. Uh, and I said to the guys, "Oh, he's got to finish that." I mean, it was really a tough chance. But and then I will say,
Yeah.
just that Martinelli hasn't been informed. Did you guys see the like insane techers that he busted out to somehow slam that thing like on goal? How did he do that?
Yeah.
No, it was a Brazilian skill for sure.
Brazilian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was wild. So, not long after though, 5 minutes in, Odegaard opens it up. It was just so easy. Um, so too bad. I think Rice passed the ball, but yet again did not get credit for the assist because I think there was a bobble or a deflection or something. So you hate to
Yeah.
see it. Um,
It hit
was that the
somebody.
one that
Yeah.
Kai let go, or was that a different one? There's a really good bit where someone played the ball and Kai kind of could have almost hit it, but he picked his foot up to like dummy it. And it's just add another thing to the list of just itty bitty things that people don't notice that Kai Havertz is doing too.
That might have been him. I remember that play. It might have been that one or the
Yeah,
Martinelli goal.
there's one I don't remember, but it's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes in, we're at 1-0. 13th, for whatever reason, Chris Wilder decided it would be a good idea to play Austin Trusty at left back. Uh, that very quickly backfired when Saka did not even break a sweat, roasting him to the byline and hammering it off the defender into the goal. So 2-0. 2 minutes later, Martinelli goal from the no look pass from Christian's favorite player, Jakub Kivior, to bring the score line to 3-0.
Vieira is my
Oh,
favorite
sorry,
player.
your second favorite player. I forgot about Fabio Vieira. The one I do want to stick on though was 10 minutes later, the Kai Havertz goal. And Michael, you touched on it before. Kai Havertz is a good player with confidence. We haven't really seen it since Bayer Leverkusen, I think we can safely say. That was the most confidently I've seen him take a chance and inject. Like, he just looked like a confident footballer. And I have not seen that from him, even with all the stats he's put up this year, which is really impressive. That was the first time I've seen him look like a baller, like he belonged.
He finished like a
Yeah,
striker. Like his finish was a striker finish.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
hard
absolutely
to the
perfect.
bottom.
I mean, Chelsea definitely destroyed his confidence. If you think about the system that they played him in, granted, yes, they won the Champions League, but his game was never to be like Drogba, like a post-up striker, hold the play up. That's never been his game. But Chelsea tried to use him in that fashion for so long, and I think he just really lost his confidence, and you can see with like the goal droughts that he had throughout in Chelsea's career. But you see it. I mean, if this was the beginning of the season, Kai would have like scuffed that to the left, or he would have blasted it up in the sky.
yeah,
He just looks like such a different player now. There was even this one play during the game where someone gave him a diagonal. He took a perfect first touch to his
yeah.
left side and then laid it off. And I was like, he would have never controlled that ball perfectly in the beginning of the season either. He just looks so much cleaner and so much more confident.
Yeah, somebody,
I think that number 9 role is really now that playing in that number 9 role for a couple games in a row, I think he's has really helped him get confident because he did play a lot of games at the number 8 in a row, and he was not like this.
Yeah,
I think Gabriel Jesus is going to have a big issue coming back.
I agree. I mean, that's kind of the team right now
Yeah.
is it's nobody's walking back into their place. I mean, how could you after you know the beatdowns? I mean, no, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we've done it against the best opponents and the only half decent opponent we lost to in Porto. I mean, I think that's way too shallow of an analysis of that. But yeah, in general, I mean, he's looked completely different player, and he is a great almost like metaphor for our season. Not that we ever look as a team as inept as he did at the beginning of the year. Just the way that like he has
Yeah.
progressed, the team has progressed, and I think that's an accident given the impact that Granit Xhaka had on everything we did last year. Is he playing like Granit Xhaka? No, he's not that kind of player.
No.
But I think he's adding things that are different, and this Arsenal team is at such a point that you need to go for like minor upgrades because there's not a whole lot out there that's going to be a quote major upgrade on anything we have. It's little details, and that's why he went for David Raya over Ramsdale. Like that's a key example of I see a chance for a minor upgrade. Has it been? You can debate that all you want. You can see what he was going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still 50-50 on the Raya Ramsdale debate. You know how I feel about it. I like Ramsdale more, even though for these lower tier games you can use Raya because we're gonna have possession more, so it makes sense. But for the big games, you need a shot stopper. It's all about those little finite centimeters where can he get to the ball, can he not? And Ramsdale has proved it time and time again. He is an incredible shot stopper. But going back to Kai for a second. I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. He's not an eight. He's always been a floating 10 or like a secondary striker. And Odegaard to me was never a 10. I always saw him more as an eight. So it makes my ideal lineup honestly would be Jesus as striker, Kai right behind him, Odegaard behind him, and then we have Rice and then Saka and Martinelli. That would be my ideal lineup right there. And then Kai and Jesus can switch because neither of them are true strikers.
Yeah,
So they can just flow and rotate constantly.
we've been talking a lot on here. I mean, Rob and Christian and I that we'd love to see Jesus play the eight. It'll never happen, but we think he'd be so good at it because he's not a striker.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think he has too many of those like winger and forward habits to place him as an eight, I think.
Yeah,
I think it would be too dangerous to put him as an eight.
I just don't
Just
want him at
because
the
he'll
nine.
take certain risks that yeah, but I mean where else are you gonna put him? Like left wing you can put him, he'll do decently well, but he doesn't really have that sprint either. He's very agile. But again, we don't really have a sprinter on our team except for Martinelli, so
Yeah,
he's good in tight spaces, kind of like Trossard is as well. So that's one of the things you kind of have to play him down the middle, just because of that. Even though he isn't the most consistent finisher there is, so
but at that point,
it's what we
couldn't
got
you?
until we.
You could debate Jesus up top and Havertz at eight, which is where we started, right? But in reality, those are just like quote like if you've got to say what position they play versus like reality,
Mhm.
which is they're not just playing those positions. Like with Trossard and Havertz, they're going back and forth all match. Like no one is a pure striker, no one is a pure eight. They're flipping all the time.
Right,
I don't think. I mean, I think
right.
the goal of this system was Jesus at the nine, Havertz at the eight, and they're doing the same basic thing. We just haven't fully gotten a whole lot of chance to see it because either Havertz in the beginning of the year when Jesus fit, either Havertz was shit, or Jesus hasn't been fit, and we haven't gotten to see him with Havertz. So it's hard to say, but what I think we can confidently say is that we talk about, I was saying before about like minor detail upgrades. The upgrade that we need to make is to stop depending on players who can't be depended on for fitness. And that's just where this team has to go. Like, I don't care how good Thomas Partey is. I don't care how good Gabriel Jesus is. I don't care how good Zinchenko, Tomiyasu are. Like, they can be part of the squad, but they can't be
Mhm.
dependable starters. You have to prepare otherwise. Any disagreement,
No,
Christian? Christian, what do
absolutely.
you think? I see you making faces.
No, I I agree. Like I honestly, and I was just thinking right now, I think I'm kind of ready to grow, you know, away from Gabriel Jesus right now. Like you said, he's not a nine. He's never fit. He misses a lot of important games. Like he's one of a high, earners in our team. Like I just, and if we want to be competitive, we need to put on his position. There has to be somebody that can score goals. And he obviously he doesn't. So
Ivan Tony.
I have something we're gonna get to later
uh,
on the striker front, so we'll jump
Mbappe,
back into that. But yeah,
That would be a
Kylian
dream.
Mbappe.
That would be a dream. But he doesn't like playing striker anyway. He's always said he likes to play left wing.
see you, Martinelli.
He can play whatever the fuck he wants. Want to play keeper? Play
Yeah,
keeper.
literally.
Oh no, left back, left back.
Yeah, exactly. Interchanging,
That too.
overlapping runs. So, um, let's see. Just going through the rest of it. Rice, banger of a goal, too easy. Um, he's just so happy here. I love seeing Declan Rice so happy. And literally every week we do the same thing, and it's just like we didn't pay West Ham enough. 250 wouldn't be enough. He's that good. So, um,
He's insanely crazy good.
we get to halftime.
He's everything that we need.
Yeah, sorry, Michael, go ahead.
No, he's everything that we needed. I mean, we get a similar quality from Thomas Partey, but he's just never fit enough. Granted, Rice is levels above, but still, like he's so dependable. He's an incredible leader. He's so not injury prone, which has been a big problem for us lately with a lot of our players. He's just perfect fit. I'm glad he didn't go to, I think it was Chelsea, if I remember correctly.
That was the original thought. Well,
City.
it ended up being Arsenal City, but for a while, I mean, these guys know. I said for
Hmm.
months, I figured he should get back at Chelsea, where he came up. So,
Yeah.
all right, so we got to halftime. You know what? I want to ask a question. For one,
Talk to
you can call it one game, you can call it one season, but right now, Declan Rice or Rodri?
I think you have to go Rodri. That's hard to say because, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I think Rodri's this modern day Sergio Busquets. Just you can't get the ball off of him. He's so technically and tactically aware. He can shoot. He's such a great defensive player. He has more mobility than Busquets. I think it has to be Rodri. It's close, but it's like 1A, 1B.
Christian?
I'm taking Rice.
Right.
I think the Rodri is that good because his City's system helps him very good.
Mhm.
When he played at Atletico, he wasn't. He was good, but he wasn't this Rodri. Obviously, it was years ago, but he wasn't. And if you
Yeah.
see him playing with Spain, he doesn't have the impact that Rice has with England. So I just think he plays. It's like Foden. Like um, Foden that is doing really good right now, but has he performed like that with England? I just I think the system that they play is just so great for them that Pep knows how to get the best out of them, and that's why Rodri is untouchable in that team. But if you put him in another team, I don't think he'll do that good.
So
But
ultimately, you're
that's why
saying that Rice will excel at this same level, whether he's at Arsenal or whether he's at City. Rodri will obviously continue to do what he's doing
City,
at City, but if he
Arsenal,
came to Arsenal, he would not have the same impact, is what you're saying.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
that's fair. Yeah, systematically.
We do play very
Yeah,
similar though, but I'll put it. I'll change. I'll put it more with Spain. Rodri with Spain is not what Rodri with City is. Rice with England is very similar to what Rice with Arsenal is.
yeah. I mean, my answer is, and I think you add a lot of really good components to it. My answer is I'm taking Rodri with City over Rice at Arsenal. So I'm gonna bring in what you said, in terms of bring the system into it. Um, but yeah, in actual reality, I would never say no to Declan Rice. I could never. But
No, ideal world, we would have both of them.
yeah,
Take Thomas Partey out because he's always injured. Have Rodri in. He can say he fits our system perfectly as well because we have a similar system to Pep with Arteta. And then just have Declan Rice running everywhere like the machine that he is.
it's such a shame to think if Thomas Partey had even stayed as fit as he has last season or the year before. Like,
Didn't Zinchenko said like he would take healthy Partey over Rodri at some point?
ah,
It was an interview. He
wouldn't
said
be
that.
surprised.
He said what I see Thomas Partey do in like training and games is just like I've never seen it before.
It's if we had a healthy Partey at the
Yeah.
6 and a healthy Rice at the 8,
Yeah,
I
one
can't
hundred
even
percent.
imagine.
God,
I can't even
Yeah.
imagine.
And we're gonna need that
that's.
because
I mean, now maybe.
Jorginho's a bit limited in the running department. He's an incredible player, an incredible brain, incredible passer. But I think in order for us to win possibly the Champions League, it's a little bit of a long shot because we're so young in terms of players and coaching. We need another midfielder that has a bit more of that grit and muscle. And Party, I think, will be huge going down the season. Just pray that he stays healthy because we're gonna need him.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, I think it's been said, I don't know if it was Ornstein or someone else, but like Arsenal's going to spend big on a midfielder this summer. I think we're going to go bananas this summer in the market because I think we're finally going to actually like bring in some sales and bring some revenue in. FFP will balance out a bit, and we can do some big things. Um, I just don't like. I guess it all depends what can we get for Thomas Partey because if we can't get much for him, I would keep him. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree
If
with
it's
that.
like if we can't get more than 10 for him, keep him. It's one season. Who cares? Do it.
I I would argue more, at least 20 or 30.
I don't think we're getting more than 20 for him. I don't
No.
think so. Unless it's the Saudis, which
Oh no, I think he did get an offer in the winter transfer market, if I remember correctly,
really.
for the Saudis, right? And he turned it down or something like that.
I think I
I
don't
was on Bleacher Report.
yeah, last summer I thought he did, or that's what we were pushing for, but we wanted more. Like they offered 40 and we said it's not enough, but Juventus offered 20 and we said no or something like that. I'm not sure. That's what I remember, but it was also 6, 7, 8 months ago. So, all right. So, well, it was a fun debate. Glad I brought that up. All right. Second half, there's not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, we'll get to the subs, but yeah, Ben White smacked a goal in for Arsenal's 10,000th goal, so that was fun. Um, Nothing really happened. I mean, it was just we just played. I mean, it was if we want to talk about the subs, I mean, this is the time to jump in. Michael, I know you wanted to touch on that, so I'm gonna kick it to you to jump into subs.
It just doesn't make any sense how you don't take at least half the team off after the 45th minute. Like it's 5-0. What more do you
How
want?
many
Any
subs would you have made?
coach, I would have done five. I would have taken Saka out, Martinelli out, Rice out, Odegaard out, Havertz
But
out.
what
I
if
would have
someone gets
taken them all
injured
out.
and you can't make any subs, then you're playing a man down.
I think you have to leave like one
I
or
would say
two,
three.
but
I
I
would
Yeah,
say
kind of
three
agree with him.
subs.
Like at least
yeah,
three at half. It would have had any impact on a 5-0, zero
yeah,
shots on goal. Like
yeah. I'm definitely being a bit overly dramatic. For sure, at least three. Because it's 5-0. You have to take Martinelli and Saka out. I don't care what anyone says. Kai's been very durable. You can depend on him to probably keep running and playing. Take Rice out. He's been taking a beating. You cannot afford to lose him at all. Um, it just doesn't make any sense. And what really boggles my mind is how does Emil Smith Rowe not play a second of this game? It makes zero sense in my
don't get me
mind.
That's
started.
Christian's
It's
Don't
boy.
get me
five
started.
it's 5-0. He's the hometown kid. He's trying to get his confidence in his running again. Like I don't understand how he doesn't play. And you choose Vieira over him, which I get it.
Thank
Vieira
you.
has shown flashes.
Don't get it. Don't get it.
Vieira has shown flashes, but
Of what?
He's shown
Christian,
flashes, but
Every
like,
time I see him play, I just like get so frustrated, bro. I
yeah,
want to cry right now, honestly.
he hasn't lived
Just
up to the
reminded me that
tag.
Vieira went in.
He hasn't lived up to the price tag for sure, and
Oh, good.
it could be the style, the system. Usually, I always like to give players a year to get acclimated, especially if they're coming from another country. But yeah, I don't understand how Smith Rowe doesn't play a second of this game.
I think Fabio Vieira, and I say this to Christian and Rob all the time. I think the management, or I'll call it the mismanagement of Fabio Vieira's career as far with Arsenal. You can't. I mean, he got injured. Okay, fine. I get you can't really account for that. Like I get that. That's fine. Um, I think it should have been so freaking apparent that you know until through January of last season, Vieira was nowhere near ready to contribute to this Arsenal team, and he needs minutes at his age,
Yeah,
and he should have gone on loan either to a different country or a lower level Premier League. And I would have even debated maybe Premier League wouldn't be the best fit for him last year. This year, he should have been doing what Sambi's
yeah,
doing. He should be at another Premier League club where he's going to get a shit ton of minutes and he's going to get used to the Prem in real time, the ups and downs of a season. Right now, it is a complete and utter waste. Literally, Ethan Nwaneri is more ready for the Premier League than Fabio Vieira is right now, and from the flashes we've seen. And outside of that cameo he made in the United match, I haven't seen one element of anything from him that tells me that Fabio Vieira should be getting minutes for Arsenal. And that's not the worst thing in the world because this is a really freaking good team. If this was the Arsenal of 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, I understand how you would want to integrate him and give him minutes and learn on the fly. But not with this team. What's the point? I mean, it's so silly to me.
But I just, dude, if you come in like, let's say you're playing pickup, right? And then you are with a really good team and you're an okay player, you perform well because you have a really good team. Like he should be doing what he did with United when he came in. That's the only game that I had really seen him play good. Like you said, it's just literally like the only game. Like he had a chance last season to play a full game
Yep.
versus
Yep. When we
Southampton,
bench Xhaka.
and that guy was a ghost. He was hiding behind Southampton players. He was never showing for a pass. He never controlled the ball. He never passed the ball. I was like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
And then, goes on and on. Obviously, didn't. We talked about this in the summer a million times. He should have gone on loan. He didn't. He goes to the United game in that friendly game. He blows
Oh, the
that
penalty. Yeah.
PK, the penalty to hell, and then he scores the other one and
The
the
next
the
one,
winning
yeah.
goal in the Community Shield. He kind of felt that he was going to get his confidence back. He had good, subs in, and then he plays another game, and he's just like a
And you
disaster.
couldn't loan him in January because he was injured. No team's taking him.
Yeah, exactly. Like to me, seeing him like getting minutes over
Anyone?
Nelson and Smith Rowe, I'll keep Eddie on the bench. I don't care, but those two that really fight, and every time they come in, they show that they're Arsenal through and through. It's just frustrating because I don't think I saw anything. Vieira didn't control the ball. Pass is terrible. Got bodied by every single Sheffield United player. It was just like it was frustrating to watch. Honestly, he got 45 minutes to play. Like, just I don't know. Like I said, I was joking the other day. I said maybe he runs errands for Arteta, and that's why he gets so many chances. Like, there's no other explanation why this kid gets so many.
His best friend's Martinelli, and
Above
Martinelli's demanding him to play. I don't know. I mean, it's
maybe.
Apparently, those two are like attached at the hip.
That's,
Like they're like obsessively best
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
It seems like, which is cool. But so is Flamini and Ozil. Flamini didn't get minutes
Flamini,
just because he was
the
best friends with
legend.
Ozil. But yeah, Flamini
He got
worth
red
more than
cards
all
and
of
would run
us.
the field.
He's like the richest ex-footballer ever or something like that, who wasn't like from royalty. Insane.
Yep.
He wasn't a footballer; he was a businessman. So it was.
Yeah. I think the other one was the Barcelona player. I forgot his
I
name.
think
He played for like a season or two in Barcelona as striker.
Lev?
was he. Wait,
Oh, from us?
are you talking about
I think he
richest
was like Moroccan or something.
Oh,
Brett White?
Martin
Yeah,
Bright White.
but he's like
Yeah,
royalty
yeah,
though.
right, right, yeah,
He's
He has like a he has a crazy real estate business.
good for him.
Like his
Yeah, he went from
portfolio is
like Middlesbrough to
insane.
Barca, right?
something crazy like that.
Some
Yeah,
shit
Yeah,
when
like
they like
it was
they
and
insane.
then they were
emergency
like
loan or something.
no, they bought him and then they paid him a fuck ton of money and then they were like, "We want you to leave." He goes like, "I am leaving.
It was an
I
emergency
want my
signing,
wages.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had the speed and
I'm
everything.
not going
he went
anywhere.
Leo.
You
Him
owe
and
me money."
Cedric going full Leo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. So
Yeah,
can't blame him.
Speaking of
I
rich
ain't going
people,
anywhere.
this person might not be a soccer player that's unexpectedly rich, but the ball boy, the hazard hit. I mean, this guy's apparently wealthy
Oh
now,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
he's
the
killing it.
out of this world. So,
fucking
yeah,
vodka business and some shit like that.
Good
yeah,
for him, man. What a moment. I remember I was watching that game. I was just like, did he just do that?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was screaming at the
Did you
TV. So
just
my
kick the
my
kid?
girlfriend, my girlfriend's a Chelsea fan, so we always have these arguments back and forth between both clubs. But when I watched that game and I saw that, I was like, it has to be a red. Like I'm screaming to the TV, like you can't just hit the ball boy. Granted, the ball boy was looking for it for
Oh,
sure.
100%. Yeah, credit.
Yeah,
The only ball boys who've had a more impressive performance were the Porto ball boys against us in the game a couple weeks back. So
exactly,
that was insane.
exactly.
So, but yeah, but going back to what you said about the subs or the non-playing of Eddie, ESR, Nelson. I mean, again, I think that when you look at who came on and everything else, it was a lot of guys that clearly like we were trying to get them some minutes and their legs back from injury. So Christian, before you talked about Gabriel Jesus, like he was on the bench last weekend. I don't think he was ever coming in unless it was an absolute emergency. But you got to figure that by now, like him playing, he's fine. And now the rumor is he hurt himself again in the match. Is it true? I don't know. But apparently there was like he passed the ball from like the left side of the TV screen and just before the angle moved enough, you saw him pull up or something. I didn't see it, but that's what people were saying. So um, sounds like a complete mess. But yeah, I mean, Vieira came in. He needed minutes because of coming back from injury. Jesus came in. He needed minutes coming back from injury. Thomas Partey came in. He needed minutes coming back from injury. And literally, Ben White needed to come out, and the only option there is Cedric. So I'm with you guys, and I was equally pissed about ESR and Nelson not playing. I couldn't care less about Eddie, as it's very well documented as my feelings about Eddie and Kenny at this point. Um, but the one thing is Eddie's clearly going this summer, and I don't
Yeah,
want to hurt his value, like his transfer value. But maybe if he doesn't play, it really doesn't affect things because everyone knows who he is, what he does, and that's okay. So, um, Reese, I think we can pretty confidently or somewhat confidently say he was re-signed for FFP reasons, and there was no other reason why we begged him and overpaid him to stay, because clearly FFP is a serious thing, and he's a homegrown English talent. So that's a massive, massive help to balancing the books and being able to sign players. So I think we can understand that one. But yeah, the Emil Smith Rowe one is very frustrating. I understand on 74 minutes wanting Trossard to get some minutes and not sit on the bench the entire game, and maybe that's considered more valuable because he's actually going to be a big part of the run-in. But yeah, not bringing in Smith Rowe to me was just immensely disappointing. If he is fully fit, because they've always said the issue is his fitness. He's fit, and then he doesn't play, so it's a bummer. So, um, all right, so we had a few questions that were sent in. If you guys are good to shift to some questions. All right. So
let's do it.
Go for
first
it.
question, my main man, Will Godinez, he said, "Are we desperate for Thomas Partey to be back?" Christian, go for it.
At this point of the season, 100%. I think Michael said it earlier. That this next rounds of the Champions League and the games on the Premier League are going to be very physical. And somebody like him in the midfield with a fit Partey in form with Rice could be a really, 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 really like a signing, a
Like a
January
new
signing
signing.
for us.
Lands.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
Like I think it's gonna be big,
yeah, absolutely.
and
I
he's
mean,
what
like I
everybody
said,
has been looking for the entire season. Like we
yeah,
all been begging, like fucking Rice and Partey in the middle.
Michael?
no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Party is going to be huge for us down the stretch. He just needs to stay healthy, wrap him in bubble wrap, bring him to the PT table every day, like have everything to protect him. Because I think a truly defensive lineup that we could always run is like Jorginho, Rice, and Partey, and that would just dominate the midfield just to like shut it down. And that's something we can't even do when we're up games. Like we need him because we don't have that other defensive midfielder that can really help
Don't
Rice.
forget the pyramid. Don't forget
Jorginho's
the
just so
pyramid
limited.
Pirlo. We don't take pyramid Pirlo slander on this podcast. Mohamed El Neni will never be slandered.
No, he's a great character and a great person to have in the locker room and in our club. But yeah, let's be honest, his quality isn't there. But
You sound
he's
like
a
me
great
now.
person to have. Yeah, he's a great person to have. It's the same reason when we talked about re-signing Jorginho. He's a must
Yeah.
re-sign for at least 2, 3 years. Like you gotta have that type of personality, that character, that ability, that brain. Like he's tremendous. But yeah, Party needs to be healthy. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, are we desperate for him to be back? Desperate might be aggressive, but yeah. I mean, I look at him coming back as like Gundogan every time he came healthy for City in the second half of the season. It's the same.
I mean,
It's
imagine
the same basic thing.
last season.
Yeah,
Put us over the top when we
yeah,
need it
yeah.
most.
Desperate in terms of our goals, yes. But desperate in general, I would say not really. We can win games without him.
Yeah.
But if we want to win the Champions League and the league, we're definitely going to need him.
Yeah. The teams move beyond him, but we're certainly not immune from having him, and I would love him to be with us for this year. And again, if the money isn't right for a transfer, I would happily keep him. So, um,
Yeah.
anything else on Thomas Partey before we keep going? Cool, sounds good. So,
No.
so this one's from me. I want to throw this out there. I meant striker element. So David Ornstein wrote a piece this week in the Athletic, and he said that Arsenal's supposed three big striker targets are Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig, Victor Gyökeres, or however you say his name, from Sporting, and Evan Ferguson from Brighton. Did not say Ivan Toney. Did not say Victor Osimhen. Um, I would
Mbappe?
did not say Kylian Mbappe.
No,
Um,
Mbappe.
but yeah, I mean, I don't have a question in there so much as, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know a whole lot about them. I mean, I've seen Ferguson a decent amount because he's at Brighton, and he's not in the team right now. And for the money that Brighton are going to want for Evan Ferguson, especially because he's 19, we've seen what they did with Caicedo. I don't know that that's worth it, or I would touch that. In all reality, let Chelsea go do that one. Um, I don't know enough about Benjamin Sesko, and I know Victor Gyökeres or whatever his name is at Sporting. I know his stats are absolutely insane this year, like 33 goals already scored, like a bunch of assists. Like it sounds like he's absolutely dominating that league. Um, I also think there's something to consider in terms of what's the style of striker, because is it more of a false nine? You know, I don't think there's another Havertz out there. I think he's such a unique character, but is like the Leandro Trossard kind of mold what we need? I don't know, because Victor Osimhen's a very different style. Ivan Toney's a very different style. So, um, yeah, I'll leave it. I'll just stop there. And last thing, is Kai the answer at striker going forward, or do we need to sign something? Now I'll stop.
You want to go
Yep.
first?
Yeah, yeah. I gotta give you the respect, Christian. You go first.
You can go ahead.
I'll go. Okay.
Go
Um,
for
I
it.
would,
Go for
I
it.
would, I would say Victor for sure. No. I don't think his style would suit us. He is an incredible talent, but I just don't think his game would suit us. Ivan Tony, I was on the fence about, but having watching him play again since his suspension, I forgot how good and how effective he is because he can play post up holding the ball, and he can also come in deep and create from the midfield. Like he is actually a really good passer, and people don't realize how good of a playmaker he is. So I think Ivan Tony for me makes the most sense. He's only 27. He's going to turn 28, I think, in like 2 weeks. So he's still fitting our timeline, and we do need less of these youngsters and more of like a veteran presence. Now, Ivan Tony's not really a veteran per se, but he's more in the middle ground. So for me, I
Personality
would go Ivan
wise, do you
Tony.
think Tony fits in the team?
That's the question mark that we've talked about before. Was the betting thing an anomaly, right? He's the captain for his club, so we're assuming he has the right leadership style. Now, again, that depends on the club, the managers. Are they giving him because he's the best player, or are they giving it because he's the right character and personality? We don't know. But if it is that he's the right character and the right personality, I think he'll fit perfectly for us. He definitely has an aura of just strength and composure and calmness. Whenever you hear him talk in interviews, the way he plays in his games, um, I think he can really be the striker that we need. And again, we don't need a Haaland, like a 50, 60 goal season striker. We have enough supplemental pieces around us. I actually think we need another winger. Because we can't afford Saka and Martinelli to go down. We have no depth there. Nelson isn't good enough. Trossard isn't really a winger anymore.
Yep.
There's nothing there. So yeah, that's my take on it.
From the three that Edu said that we are, you know,
Mhm.
watching, I don't think neither of those are an answer of getting a serious striker for our
Okay.
objectives. I'd say, like I think I watched that Leipzig Madrid game, the first leg, and this guy Sesko, like I think he missed like 3 goals that he should have scored. Let's see how he does tomorrow. But what I've seen, I don't think he. How old is he again? I mean, maybe
They're
he's
all
really young.
young.
I
They're
don't know.
all somewhere in and around
Um,
20.
so like you said, Ferguson, like he had a decent game, I think, at the beginning of the season, and then
He had a
he lost his
tremendous
spot
game.
against.
Tremendous.
Yeah, then he lost his spot. Now he doesn't really play. The guy from Sporting, it's he has crazy stats, yes, but Darwin Nunes had crazy stats when he was at Benfica too, and they played they paid $90 million only to buy, what was his name again,
Andy Carroll.
Gakpo. Six,
No,
yeah, Gakpo, like
I
six
would
months
not.
later,
I would not call him Andy Carroll. That is way too harsh.
Newcastle Andy Carroll is
I,
pretty
I would
filthy.
call him no,
Personally.
but like no, because he did
West
terrible.
West Ham Andy Carroll was crazy,
Right? No, he was yes, yes. But in
and Newcastle
Liverpool,
too. He was crazy.
yeah. But Liverpool, no. That's
I mean,
such
he
a
had he
dumb.
had to compete with Suarez.
Yeah.
Imagine, like,
Yeah, yeah. I would call him Cavani 2.0. Nunez has a similar style. Not a
Yep.
great finisher, but plays striker, and he just runs and hustles
Million
everywhere.
chances.
I just don't think that league is as competitive as obviously at the Premier
Sure.
League to like be like, oh, this guy scored like 25 goals. Like, I mean, when we bought, like I said, he scored like 20 goals in the League One. He came to Arsenal. He scored for his life.
Yeah, I mean, it took
So
us 3 months
I
before
think
we
I think I
spent big on
texted you
another
the other
striker.
day.
So
Um, I like Watkins a lot.
I love
Honestly,
Ollie Watkins.
I think he's crazy technical. Like he'll fit our team 100%. He's consistently 10 goals, 5 assists. You know, at minimum a
Yeah.
season. He can make the team play. He's fast, but like you said. I don't think Villa would let him go.
Yeah. Let's put it this way:
And
if we're talking how Michael's saying Ivan Toney at Brentford, and we're talking about Ollie Watkins at Villa, I mean, they're both going to be in that probably what 60 to 80 range. I mean,
but if we have like, so if we're trying to get to the level that we have to get right, and let's say that I don't know if this is true or not, but they said that we have 250 million to spend this summer. Like players that you sell are going to open space for
yeah,
wages, right? Are we being serious about the Premier League and fucking Champions League? Because if we are, then you have to go big. Unless you want to be a one season wonder, like a lesser city,
yep.
you have to go
But
big.
who's the name though? Who's the name? Who's the big signing? If we get that 300 million, like you're thinking.
Mbappe.
Okay.
Again, I'm with you. If that happens,
Listen,
I'm all in.
there's another player in Inter, Lautaro Martinez. I think he'll fit our
We'll
team
never
too.
get him. Inter will never let him
He
go.
scores.
And he doesn't want to leave. He's so happy there.
That's true,
I
but
don't think
then
his style
you have
suits England.
I don't think so
no
either.
Nah, I don't
his
think it
striking
suits England.
partner Turam is also filthy.
But he just moved. He's not moving again.
Drum is
And
good.
but it's yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like you said, it's like I have the money. Like
Yeah.
just if you're asking me what's my dream, I would say Mbappe 100%. Apparently he's going
Yeah.
to Madrid, so that's
I think
I
that's all
agree
of our
with you on
dreams. Like,
the yeah. I think I agree with you on the Osimhen thing. Like I don't think I
It's a good
just
thing Rob's
think
not here.
we could do fine without him.
Rob's obsessed with Osimhen.
Yeah, I don't think he scores many goals, but I don't think if you put him in our team, he'll play like Eddie and Kedia. Like he doesn't have that touch to be part of the team when you're moving the ball.
Yeah.
So I think Kolo Muani is another striker that I really like. PSG. I think he was crazy good at Eintracht. I think he was or Frankfurt. One of
Yeah.
those teams.
I love Colomwani. I don't.
Um,
I could.
yeah,
I mean, that would be an understandable spend.
and
yeah. Yeah,
he
for
has to
me,
be someone fast, technical, and strong. Like my dream would be those three. If obviously if we can't get Mbappe, Mbappe is my number one.
Yeah.
mm. So you said Mbappe, and who were the other two?
No, Mbappe will be my number one, but that apparently is going to Madrid. So I'll take Lautaro, Turam, and Colomboani.
Yeah, I think the first two probably not, but I can see the third one for sure. That one could happen because he has the speed, he has the technical ability that we would need. I what I would want us to avoid is not spending all that money on one huge name player unless it's Mbappe. I think that's the only exception we can all agree on, right? We would love to have Thierry Henry's younger self version on our squad, but I think it'd be smarter to just divide that money up in quality personnel. We need a striker. I think Ivan Toney's perfect. I think your third option would be perfect as well on our squad because he can play winger, he can play striker, he can rotate. We can sell Jesus to another club, get that money off the books, and then we can have Kai and Ivan Toney kind of rotate that position. Um, what else do we need? A left back. I know Christian, you've been talking a lot about a left back, so we definitely need a left back as well.
If Timber is back, I don't think. I mean, obviously, if he stays healthy,
Right.
I don't think we need a left back. I think the way that he played left back at the beginning of the season before he got injured, obviously, like
Yeah.
I think it was just ideal to what we were or been looking for. And he's 21. That's like he plays with such like maturity, and he's a
Yeah.
kid, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need.
He's I would say very Dani Alves is in terms of his being so comfortable on the ball and knowing where everything and everyone is.
Hopefully, nothing.
He's a
Nothing
he's a
else about
really
Danny
great player.
Alves. Strictly
Oh,
on.
that's a good
Strictly
point.
on.
That's a
Strictly
very
on the
good
Hopefully
pitch.
point.
he is not. Hopefully he is not
Yeah.
like
On the
that.
pitch, go for it. Off the pitch, please, please now. Yeah. I mean, I think the blatant needs are a striker, another midfielder, and a backup and the right wing. I think that's what we need. And clearly, it seems Pedro Neto at what Wolves are going to be asking for is not happening. We're not spending 80 million on Pedro Neto
Yeah,
because,
no.
again, we can't
No.
have guys that physically we cannot depend on. We just can't. I don't care how good they are. It's just you can't spend that kind of money on someone who's constantly breaking down. Unfortunately.
You think we could get
I want to
Mudryk?
bring Mbappe again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I care if we would or not. I mean, listen, if he's super cheap and it's a punt, fine. But I don't.
Who?
Mudryk.
Ukrainian Modric?
Is it what?
Yeah.
As opposed to the
He wants to
Spanish
be in
one?
Arsenal so bad.
He does still. He's at Chelsea. He's still saying he wants to go to
So
Arsenal.
funny.
Exactly. He's lowering his value right now so Arsenal can get him for cheap,
Like
and then he could just blow up the Premier League.
playing the long game,
This is
baby.
the strategy.
Agent
So I'm
Mudryk.
looking right now.
Exactly.
So Gabriel Jesus makes 265,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
realistically, like Mbappe is a free agent. So the
Dude,
250 million,
can we move
it
on
would
from
be more of a
Mbappe? This
signing
is
bonus.
not happening.
No, I want to ask a question. I want to ask you a question. So let's say Real Madrid is offering him like, I don't know, 100 million signing bonus.
Okay.
And then 500,000 a week.
Okay.
Would you match that, or would you be like, fuck it, like I don't want
It depends on FFP.
Mm. Yeah.
If we can do
Yeah.
nothing
Well, but I
else,
just told you that. But I'm telling you that Gabriel Jesus makes 265. Would you sell Gabriel Jesus and you put Mbappe in his place plus another 250?
yeah, sure.
If it makes sense,
No,
absolutely.
the 500 is not an issue. 500 a week's not an issue. That's fine. If that's all he
I
wants,
think that's what
cool.
he's getting paid.
That's
Am I
easy.
good?
It's all the other stuff. It's the signing bonus. It's the agent fees. It's all the other crap. And the agent fee,
Yeah.
isn't it his mom? Like,
His mom is like how do you say greedy lady.
Yeah. So, all right. The only other question we got was from Rob Steinhauser, who wants to know why Christian is such a hater.
Oh,
It's gotta be specific though. Hater on what?
I think this guy Rob Steinhauser is insinuating that you're just always a hater about everything. I don't know who he is. He just sent the question.
Oh. He's a weird guy.
Actually, Christian, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you send the Colombian cartel on Rob?
Oh, good question.
No.
No.
I can take care of Rob
There
myself.
we go.
Oh,
I like it.
there's the hate. There's the hate.
All right. So, Rob survives. Christian survives. Yeah, kind of surprising, but we made it. We usually do player ratings. I think we can all agree everyone was just fucking awesome. Do we really need to go through them? We can, but like,
I'll get everybody a 9 except Vieira.
Pierre gets a 2, everyone else gets a 12.
There's the hate.
Here's what we'll do.
Actually, but
Let's do man of the match. Everybody's
Yeah,
man of the match. So, I usually go last, so I'm just gonna go first on this one. Once again, my man of the match was Martin Odegaard. Ran the show. Unbelievable passes, unbelievable dribbling. Just like the way we dominated them, it all went through him, as it always does. Set the tone with the early goal. He's everything your midfielder, maestro, and club captain should be. So I'm giving Martin Odegaard my man of the match.
I'll take Kai. I really enjoyed Kai in this game.
He was my second choice.
yeah, I would take Kai as well. PJ, I'm sure as you know, I've never been the biggest Odegaard fan. He is class personified, but always shrinks in big games. But he is a pleasure to have in our
Ooh,
squad.
look at that.
And he needs to play the 8 consistently because that's his position. He is not a 10. Let Kai be the 10, Odegaard let be the 8. That's what I want.
Interesting.
Let Smith Rowe.
No, Smith Rowe could be the super sub. His pure energy and fight and spirit. He's such a joy to watch run with the ball.
Yeah.
That he just
He's
lies. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I said this on one of the past podcasts, but um, his ability to drive the ball forward and be direct and link play reminds me so much of Tomas Rosicky. So much of him.
exactly.
Um, and that's a guy who, if he could just have been right, if he could have ever stayed fit, I mean, we're talking legend status. And what he did
Yeah,
while pretty much always being injured was unbelievable. And Smith Rowe, it seems like, knock on wood, the issue isn't fitness anymore. He had the operation, now he's ready to go with the groin. And, yeah, so
yeah.
um,
Unfortunately, we've had a lot of players like that. Rosicky, Wilshere, Diaby, a lot of like legends we could have had in midfield.
yeah, couldn't say. I mean, Eduardo is the one that doesn't get talked about enough. I thought Eduardo could have
Yeah,
been
yeah,
one of the top three strikers in the world. He was on his way until the injury.
So unfortunately, how he wasn't like he was injured. Like
yeah,
it was a
yeah.
tackle. Like which is
It was awful.
worse.
That was the
Like
worst day, man. That was the worst day. And then Gallas sitting down on the pitch to compound it
it
all.
was disgusting. Ugh,
So
Yeah.
fucking foot was like
yeah, it was
this.
no good. We've had too many of those.
Didn't that happen to Diaby as well?
Ramsey. Well,
That happened to
Yeah,
Diaby. Very
Diaby, Dan
similar.
Smith put the tackle on him, and he did that, and then it was
It's very
Eduardo, and then
similar.
it was Ramsey. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So yeah, we haven't been lucky in
That's
those areas.
another one actually, Ramsey. Like he became a solid player, but what could have been of Ramsey if he didn't miss those 2 years with the double leg break?
Yeah, I mean he came back so
Yeah.
well. It took him a while. But what was it,
Yeah.
what was it, 2013, 14, I think was the season where he was, arguably the best box to box midfielder in the world he was so far at the
Yeah.
top of his game. Um, but yeah, I don't know what happened with the contract, but it seems like it was a good thing that it didn't work out since he didn't do anything at Juve and he's a shell of himself now. He's at Cardiff now, doing nothing. So, uh, one of my all-time
Yeah,
favorite Arsenal
that
players
was the reason why I
ever.
hated Emery.
So
Yeah. He was
I
good.
hated Emery so much when he let him go.
I was so mad.
I loved Aaron Ramsey,
Yeah,
dude. Especially like before the summer, he goes like Aaron Ramsey's gonna be my guy. Like he's gonna be my player. The team's gonna go around him, and all of a sudden he's like, bye. And I'm like, the fuck, the fuck
well,
just
there's
happened?
debate that he says they agreed a contract and then someone pulled it or the agent asked for more. No, like there's no clarity on exactly what happened. But it
Yeah.
just
I would imagine it's something with the wages that he got at Juve. I mean, he when he went to Juve, he was the highest.
yeah,
Like
it was I mean,
Yeah.
he probably
it was
was
an
like,
agent thing.
so you're making 360. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah. It had to have been because he would have stayed if it was for the same money.
you'd think so. I'd hope so. But um, anything else before we do? We'll do predictions and then parting thoughts. All right,
Let's do it.
Brentford lineup. We'll start at the back. I'm going Ramsdale because Raya can't play.
Ramsdale.
And the same back four.
Pretty
Any
much, yeah.
changes you guys would make?
No,
Christian, you sure?
not against
No.
Brentford.
You're
100%.
positive, Christian?
No.
No changes?
Actually,
The changes window, it's over.
Okay. So Kivior stays at left back, is what you're saying?
Keyword has played good at left back since that game,
I agree.
oh
hasn't he?
wow. That's a change from these last two
So
podcasts.
this is the thing. When we started arguing about this thing was after the Porto match. With these guys don't say it, but he was terrible. He was
Mhm.
absolutely terrible. And to me, like, dude, if somebody doesn't play good, get the fuck out of the way and put somebody else that can play. He played that Newcastle game. We won. He played well. We won the other game after Sheffield. Good. I think. Like, why change it now?
Yeah. I mean, the
You change
Porto game
somebody
was
when he doesn't play good, not when he doesn't play good. Was that?
the the Porto game was the majority of the squad. So I mean, if we had 11 subs, I think they would all be off because it was abysmal.
Yeah, but he's the only one playing out of position. I mean, if we're gonna talk about this all over again. Like Kiwi, I like Kiwior as a center back.
I agree.
Yeah,
I love
left
him.
center
I
back,
think his strengths are
absolutely.
center back strengths, 100%. As a left
Right.
back, and even at the beginning of the season, we talked about this a million times. Like he just doesn't feel comfortable. And at Porto game, he didn't feel comfortable seeing somebody coming at him at a million, like 100 miles per hour. You could just tell his body language was not. It was not there.
Yeah,
This games he
absolutely,
has been
absolutely.
a lot better. I mean, he did a sprint yesterday in yesterday's game. He got back to the box in like 1 second.
You look good.
Like
Yeah.
he looks a lot better now. But and that Porto game to me, he looked like I said it as a joke, but like a
Mhm.
giraffe in skates. Honestly, every time that Coincao came at him, he would just shit his pants.
You're never gonna get me to fully agree with you on this one, but I respect your opinion.
I don't want you to agree with me. That's what I said a million
I'm not
times.
going to, so you
The
don't have to
crazy
worry
thing
I
about
don't
it.
is
need you guys
that
to agree with me. It's like they keep arguing about it. I was like, I'm not telling you to agree with me. You guys keep telling me why, and I was like, I'm telling you why I
No,
think
I
this.
know, but I'm sure you would
the
like me to be
crazy
like, you know what, you're
I'm
right,
not saying
Christian.
I'm
I changed my
right.
mind. You're actually totally right. I'm
I'm
just telling
not
you it's never
saying
gonna happen.
I don't want you to say that. I don't want you to say that. I don't care if you do it.
Well,
if
You asking me
Arsenal
what I think. That's what I think.
if Arsenal listened, we would have never seen these games from Kiwior. We would have seen the Arsenal Academy kid come up and play a left back.
And what if it was good?
we'll never
Yeah,
know.
that's a good point. We'll never know. We'll never
All right,
know.
moving on to the
Exactly.
midfield. We're done. We're
Exactly.
done. We're done. Midfield. Uh, Christian, who's your midfield?
I would keep the same. I wouldn't treat Brentford like I would treat injured Newcastle and Sheffield. I
So
think Brentford is
let me just
serious.
say one thing, and
Yeah, yeah,
if it alters your opinion, I'm sorry, but one thing I do want to say is that we played Monday, we play Brentford Saturday, and we play Porto Tuesday.
yeah.
So I'm not.
It's gonna have an effect for
I'm
sure.
just saying in your midfield, the real thing is Jorginho playing Saturday and Tuesday? That's the
When he,
realistic
yeah,
thing. If you think he can do it, okay. But if not, then I think you need to make a distinct
I
decision
think
on which one he plays.
if you split the minutes between um, Jorginho and Partey, that'll be fine. But you would definitely need to start Jorginho. Like I just
Yeah,
think at this point of the season, it's not it time management or game time management is important. But at this point of the season, it's like you just have to go. Like there's going to be very little games to rest players unless we can score 5 goals at
Mhm.
halftime. It's not always going to happen, but I just I don't know. I would definitely keep the same team, and if we scored, I mean, it's at the Emirates, so it might home game
So
advantage
you're
might be a
just
little
to be clear, you're
helpful for
keeping
us, but
midfield and in front three the same. Okay,
yeah,
Michael.
for me, I might just swap Jorginho for Partey just because this game's gonna be more difficult than the previous two. Like Ivan Tony's gonna have a point to prove with this squad. And Jorginho, I don't think can match the physicality of this if they're matched up together. And that's going to be way too easy to just spin off Jorginho with Ivan Tony right there. So I think just because of the personnel that we're playing, I think you're going to have to start Partey. Is he healthy enough? We'll see. But it's going to be tricky with Jorginho with this one. Normally, I would say start Jorginho, but I think this game's going to be a lot harder than people realize.
Yeah, I personally I don't think Jorginho can play Saturday and Tuesday, and
Yeah, that's another thing too.
as a result, I am putting Havertz at the 8 and Trossard at the 9, and going back to what we were doing
Yeah,
before Jorginho came in because it was going great. I mean, we were flying with Trossard in there instead of Jorginho. Um, So I would just do that tweak to save Jorginho. I don't think there's a high likelihood of Partey going straight in to the team as much as I'd like to see it. And I think this would be a good game to do it. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think the only other question mark is what happens at left wing. If Martinelli totally fine to play, or is he not? I think that's the other element that we might not have considered in this is if Martinelli cannot go, then what do you do? Does that become, as much as I don't like Trossard on the left wing, I've made that very well known. Is Trossard then starting at the left
Yeah.
wing, Havertz at the 9, and Jorginho at the 8? I don't know.
Yeah, it also depends on Jesus as well, because you said he might be injured after last game. So that's another huge element there as well.
Yeah. If he's fit and Martinelli's not, then yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think you're probably sticking Jesus back up top, whether I like it or not. I think it's reality what would happen, and Trossard would start on the left because it's not going to be Reece Nelson. It's not going to be Smith Rowe. He doesn't consider
Yeah.
Smith Rowe an option on the wing anymore. Seems pretty clear. So, any debate to that, Christian? Any thoughts? Martinelli can't go.
Reece Nelson will be my answer.
But reality, what do you think would actually happen? Since we both know that that's not reality going to happen.
Trossard is the one that usually goes in that position when Martinelli's not in. But
So, a lot of options.
I think more similar like to Martinelli is Nelson, the way he plays. He's a little more pacey, like in longer, distance than Trossard is quicker, dribbling quicker, short distance, but in a sprint. Especially, I mean, Brentford plays 3 on the back, so if the right wing or the right white wing, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, goes too high, I mean, you probably need a pacey winger to make some damage over
Yeah,
there.
getting behind. I mean, but that sort of like that back three, that's where I freaking love the Havertz Trossard approach because they pull guys out of position, which I love. Like nobody can tell me that there's many guys in the world with better movement than Kai Havertz. I mean, that's a key part of what he brings.
Yeah, I've just enjoyed him so much in the 9 in the past couple of games that I would just keep him there.
Yeah.
Especially if he's scoring, dude. If he's scoring, I mean, if we need a striker that scores goals and he's scoring in every single game, just fucking leave him.
So I'll ask you a question. If you want Kai at the
Don't
9 and Jorginho cannot play and he is going to be earmarked for Tuesday in all likelihood, who's playing at the 8? Reality. I said reality, not what we want.
He could play.
Yeah, sure, he could.
He's healthy.
He's not
He's
gonna.
healthy. I think Jorginho's gonna play. I don't think Arteta does the
Well, you're
resting management that we are overthinking right now.
Yeah, I mean, if Vieira would be the only option then if that's the case, and
At the 8.
I hope that would not be the answer, but
Yeah, please no.
that's the only body.
Yeah, I'll play an academy left back before I play Fabio Vieira. That is, you know what? Shifting into parting thoughts, that is my parting thought. So I'll throw it to Michael for his parting
at
thought.
the 10.
Anywhere.
You played an academy left back as a
Before
10.
I play Fabio Vieira, I'm like getting there.
Hey, I would never argue that with you.
No, I'd play Fabio Vieira.
I would play a fucking couch.
Okay.
I would play a couch before.
Michael, parting thoughts. Any last things you want to add?
Poor Vieira, man. He's got to get
He
sold.
needs a loan.
Catching
He
strays.
needs a loan. He needs a loan. Get some minutes in the Premier League, not in fucking.
Yeah, you can't sell
in
him
the
right now
Premier
because you're getting nothing.
Yeah.
Dude,
Or
Sambi,
go to
Sambi
Spain.
went to Luton Town. No, it has to be in the fucking Premier League. Sambi went to Luton Town. The first couple of games, he was not really good.
That was awesome.
And at some point in the season, Barkley came in, Thousand came in, and he's just a new player. Like for me, I have a lot of respect for Club as a manager because he's fucking insane. And for him to praise Sambi the way he did, I was like, holy shit! Like this kid is fucking legit.
Yeah.
And you could see him when he came in, like in that season, that he just, he played a lot of games at the beginning. He was just the talent was there. He was just like not mentally
Well,
fit,
I'll give
And
you.
then when he got benched, then he just like went into his
You want to
shell.
talk about the
You
flip
know?
side though? Was it Gendouzi? Gendouzi wasn't physically and capability wise ready, but mentally he was like, yeah, I'm not scared of anything. Let's go. And you can fault and dislike Gendouzi all you want about maturity and all these other things, but you could never fault his fight and the fact that he wasn't afraid of anything. If you could take Sambi's
He's an
ability,
aggressive
yeah, take
player.
Sambi's ability with Gendouzi's mindset, you'd have a pretty good player, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Gendouzi's fight, not
yeah.
immaturity.
I think the
Sambi,
Guendouzi mindset is too extreme. Like he's just, I just didn't like Guendouzi for our team. Like mentally, like I would just think that I don't even think he was a good player for our
Yeah.
like
I meant Gendouzi's
our
fight,
team.
not
You know?
mentality, because I don't mean like the immature
Yeah,
part. I mean like his fight and like confidence in his
yeah.
ability is really what I meant.
Oh, he does.
yeah,
He's just like he's a
Yeah.
warrior. He's a
But no,
warrior.
he's still I mean
yeah,
I mean, I watched the game against Bayern today. He did it. He just fights
yeah.
every ball.
I mean, but he also still hasn't grown up. He got
No,
red
a
carded.
single ball.
yeah. In Lazio,
Yeah.
yeah. Sambi could be big for us. He just again, right? He came from Belgium, went straight to a huge club in Arsenal. It took him a year to kind of find his feet, but you can tell he needed a loan just to like build up very slowly and get used to playing at this speed, at this level, at this high of an intensity in terms of what the club requires day in, day out, with all the cups that we have and all the matches. I think he'll definitely be a good rotational piece for us moving forward. Vieira, I don't even think a loan makes sense. Just sell him. We tried 2, 3 years now. I just think it's time, unfortunately.
I'd loan him because he's got no value right now, in my opinion. So I'd loan him and see what he does.
Yeah, but I just
With the extent
that's
like
fair.
Sambi,
Yeah.
I'm not bringing Sambi back. I'm selling Sambi. I'm not even considering letting him back in the squad. Like sell while his value's high.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. It depends how you value him, right? Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, take two. Michael, final thoughts.
Final thoughts on what?
Before we leave, you get to sign off. You can say anything you want, any overarching thought, you can say anything you want.
Well, first, let me say, Rob, thank you for being out. It was a pleasure being on this podcast. Second, just let's just pray that Arteta rotates our squad for the next game because, like you said, we only have 3 days in between, two really for rest. So we really need to make sure we balance the squad out. And I really hope that us not being more Arteta not being more proactive and subbing the players earlier won't have a compounding effect for this game as well as the next game on Tuesday. So let's pray.
Dig it. Christian,
No, I just think the game after Porto is City,
there's like 3 weeks
or do we have?
between it or
Oh,
something. It's like bananas.
because
Oh
we had
yeah,
Chelsea,
Yeah,
right?
Chelsea got moved.
yeah,
We had
So now
Chelsea, and Chelsea won the
we're gonna
FA
have a bunch
Cup.
of
Yeah.
congestion later with the Spurs game and everything else. But yeah, the City game we have like isn't it like 3 weeks between when we play City? It's like
Yeah, it's a
crazy.
couple. I was just looking at it right
Yeah,
now.
2 weeks and a half, 19
yeah,
days,
wild.
I
19
mean,
days.
fuck it,
Wow.
dude. Is it even worth like thinking about game management right now? Fucking just
Yeah.
play whoever needs
You
to
also have
play.
to deal with internationals.
You gotta win these 2 games.
Yeah, I don't
These two
That's
games have to fucking go in the bag and then rest 3 weeks.
I don't disagree. But is that your final thought, or you have anything else?
Freaky. Nothing else. I would love to see Smith Rowe play again, but just me.
Let's see. My final thought. Yeah. prayer for Reece Nelson and Emil Smith Rowe. They're catching strays right now. Just it's tough. I mean, but let's put it this way: 2 years ago, they would be heavily involved right now. And the fact that you can so blatantly see this team pulling away from Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson. You can say what you want about Smith Rowe, but like those kinds of players, like there's no future for those players with Arsenal. And again, I think that's a testament to what we're building. So I'll end it on a positive note that I hope Smith Rowe plays, but the fact that Eddie can't touch the pitch, I mean, you just get a lot of playing time. So I think that's a big win. So cool.
Wait, did you said that?
Yeah.
You said that Smith Rowe doesn't have a space on our
No,
team anymore?
I was really targeting Eddie and Nelson.
Eddie?
Mostly Eddie. I freaking
Eddie.
love Reece Nelson. I would love Eddie to be again. I'll say it again. I
have
want
to
Eddie
agree
to be
with you on the
successful.
Eddie, dude.
But
Like,
it's not happening.
Yeah. As a character, he's
Eddie,
tremendous.
ever since they gave him that 14 jersey, in my opinion, he became a fucking diva, dude. Like, the way he plays now is nothing what he used to do when he had that 32. What 32 was it?
30.
The 34?
I think it was 30.
30? Nothing to do with that Eddie. Like, it's just frustrating to watch him just walk around the pitch, jog around, not fight, and just terrible.
You're gonna see. You're,
used to defend Eddie with PJ, not anymore. I'm on your side. Get the fuck out of here.
well, I don't want you to take my opinion.
I want to. I want to.
All right, I want you to take it too.
I want to be on
Well,
your side on that.
on that note, we had multiple people on this podcast agreeing on things. That's a common thing. So that's the Michael Chavez effect. But
Nice.
yeah, so we will. Oh, score prediction. We didn't do score prediction. Okay, last thing. Brentford.
Ooh, yes.
Score prediction. Christian, go.
1-1.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna say we like last minute winner 2-1.
I'm gonna go 3-1.
3-1. Okay.
All right, Christian, hold up. I want this to end because we're almost an hour and a half, and I said let's keep this under an hour.
Negativity has been working for me.
Okay.
So I'll just keep.
I understand what you're saying. Okay. Well.
Oh, I see where Rob gets the hater thing from.
That's a good note to leave us on.
Every single game, Rob says 2-0.
He does.
Like
he does.
0-2.
So, well, on that note, thank you for listening. Appreciate it as always. So this is PJ Davidson, Christian Escalera, Michael Chavez signing off after Arsenal 3, Brentford 1, I hope. Arteta in.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.